Hello mga kaibigan, kumusta? So nandito tayo ngayon sa isang video kung saan magdi-discuss tayo kung paano gumamit ng Premiere. Unang-una, kailangan natin buksan ay yung Premiere. So pagka nag-start ka ng program, ganyan siya, maglo-load siya. So kailangan hintayin lang natin ng konti para siya ay mag-open. Then right after that, kikita mo tong screen na to kung saan papakita niya sa'yo yung mga latest na projects mo. Click on new project and then click on browse para masabi mo sa kanya kung saan mo gusto mag-save. So kunwari dito sa Laguna, gawa tayo ng bagong folder, DSL season 31. And then gawa tayo ng test folder. And then lagyan natin yung project name. There we go. And then, ito yung una nyo makikita ngayon. So, basically, what's gonna happen here is that we're gonna be discussing yung workspace and then di-discuss natin yung basics ng editing and then mapag-uusapan din natin yung rendering and other methods ng rendering. Okay? And pati yung definition ng mga terms na yun. Alright? Okay. So, ngayon, dito sa workspace na ito, ang unang-una nyo makikita ay, oh, by the way, itong version na to ng Adobe CC, meron siyang mga tabs sa taas. These tabs are pre-made. Parang kumbaga, itong workspace na to, iba-ibang itsura depende sa kung anong function yung kailangan mong gawin. So, halimbawa, nandito tayo sa editing tab, pang-editing talaga to. I mean, yung structure ng workspace ay pang-editing. So, pag pumunta ka dito sa color tab, that's for color grading. So, meron kang source window. So, ibig sabihin niya, parang papakita niya sa'yo kung ano yung itsura nung base na form without the edits, without the color grading or anything. And then dito sa window na to, yung itsura with the color grading, so on and so forth. Andito naman yung effects na tab. So, parang it helps you select and preview the effects, so on and so forth. Ito naman audio, ang tawag dito, ano yan? Para sa pagbabalanse nung audio nung clip mo. And the fun fact about here is that you can click through these na iba-iba yung itsura ng workspace mo without having to open and close yung tawag dito? Yung project mo. Okay? So now, for our purposes, para lang sa basic na kailangan nating matutunan without the fluff, dito tayo sa editing tab. Okay. So, now, how do we import yung video files? First, you open your folder, kahit saan yan, you don't have to see yung, kahit magbukas kayo ng hard drive, it doesn't have to be in a single folder. Pero, dapat sana lahat ng project files mo for this particular, for the particular project that you're working on, maganda sana nasa iisang folder para madali ka maghanap ng mga bagay-bagay. Alright. So, let's try this shot. So, ito siya. Dito ko siya dinrag. Try natin mag-drag na isa pa for visibility. Fishport Market. Yun. Dinadrag ko siya dito. So, halimbawa itong tatlo na to. Yan, na-drag na natin sila lahat dyan. Paano natin sila sisimulan i-cut? Paano natin sila sisimulan i-edit? This is how you do it. First, you click on File. Then you click on New. And then you go for Sequence. And then from here, maghahanap ka ng sequence that best suits whatever it is that you're trying to edit. Kumbaga kung ano yung pinakagusto mong final product, dyan mo siya hahanapin. Ako personally, I like using this preset under yung ARRI na na folder ng presets. ARRI 1080p 30. If your camera is running on a much higher frame rate, tapos gusto mo medyo nasa 60 frame rate, 60 frames per second yung yung video mo, yan, pwede mong gamitin ito under the ADC HD na preset. Take note though that you have to know kung ilang frames per second yung base na video mo, yung RAW mo. So halimbawa, yung RAW mo ay 30 frames per second lang, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin to. Kasi saan kukuha ng additional 30 frames per second yung Premiere? Gets nyo ba? So, if it's just running on 30 frames per second, it can max kasi yun yung base na form mo. It cannot run on 60 frames per second without looking weird. Kasi what's gonna happen there is Premiere will be trying to duplicate frames just to reach that 60 frames per second na count, na frame rate. It will be duplicating frames just to reach yung 60 frames per second na sinet mo. So, keep that in mind when you're editing. Tandaan mo kung ano yung raw na shots mo. Tandaan mo kung ano yung specs ng raw na shots mo. Premiere cannot create frames out of nowhere. The same way that it cannot create pixels out of nowhere. So, for example, tingnan nyo to. It says here that the frame size is 1920 by 1080. 1920 height. 1920. It says here that it's 1920 by 1080. 1920 horizontal, 1080 vertical. So if you were shooting at 720 by 1280 or something like that, something smaller, something less than yung dimensions nito, if you stretch it out to 1920 by 1080, it's gonna look weird. It's gonna look blurred. It's gonna look pixelated. It's gonna look pixelized, whatever you wanna call it. Kasi what's basically happening there is Premiere is creating clones of pixels per inch, per square inch, just to make sure na ma-reach niya yung quota mo. Gets nyo ba? This is why it's better to shoot at 4K and then reduce it to 1920 by 1080 or shoot at 8K and then reduce it to 4K. It's better to reduce palagi para yung details retained. This is why K-pop videos are so nice and bright and sharp. Kasi they shoot at 8K and then they reduce it to 4K. At least most of the studios do. Alright, moving forward. Dito muna tayo sa ARRI 1080p 30 kasi some of the videos here, as you can see dito sa kaliwa, they shot at 24 frames per second or 23.976. Okay, given that, we're gonna be selecting this. Ito, ARRI 1080p 24. So again, the frame size is 1920 by 1080. Wala tayong problema dyan. HD yung footages natin. And the frame rate is 24. Okay? So, dito tayo. Alright. Now, we click and drag yung raw footage. Lagay natin papunta sa sequence. Yan, tatanungin niyo tayo, this clip does not match the sequence's settings. Change sequence to match the clip settings, blah, blah, blah. So, hindi natin kailangang baguhin yan. I-keep existing settings natin. Why? Because we already thought about the specs, kumbaga, nung sequence natin. Pinag-isipan na natin, diniscuss na natin siya. However, if hindi ka sure dun sa specs ng sequence sa sinet mo at gusto mong paboran yung specs ng raw na video mo, you can go ahead and click change sequence settings. If you're more confident about yung settings ng raw video mo, then the settings ng sequence na sinet mo, go ahead and change it. Pero tayo, in our case right now, dahil pinag-usapan natin, confident tayo dun sa raw na sequence natin, go ahead and click on Keep Existing Settings. Tada! Okay, so ano ba itong dinrag natin? We go ahead and zoom in. By the way, we can zoom in by pressing Alt and then the mouse wheel, or we just click and drag dun sa sides nitong work bar natin. Okay? Whoa. Yan. Alright. So, ito, dinrag natin to dito. We're gonna go ahead and try to play it. Okay, so, if you're gonna cut, halimbawa, ito, we want it to end here. So, cut that right there. So, halimbawa, yan. We want it to end here. What we did is click on this tool or press yung hotkey. The hotkey for it is C. So, C, and then we click exactly kung saan natin siya gustong mag-cut. So, halimbawa, gusto natin siya mag-resume. Gusto natin mag-resume yung clip somewhere here. We click on C again, and then we click dun sa part kung saan natin siya gustong mag-cut. So, C, tapos click. C, click. C, click. Tapos, syempre, itong part na to, ayaw natin to. Ito nasa gitna. What do? Do we just press delete para mawala? Yes, we can. Wala na siya sa clip. However, may butas ka dito of just darkness. So, we don't do that. What I do personally is I click on this thing right here, dito sa yung part na gusto ko mawala. And then I press Shift Delete. Now, wala na yung gap na sa gitna. And the clip just flows from one cut to another. Okay. So, halimbawa naman, gusto mo siyang lagyan ng konting effects like fade in, fade out, cross dissolve, yung mga ganun. This is what we do. We go over here dun sa top left side ng screen, then we click on effects. After clicking effects, we click on video transitions and then dissolve. Actually, pag tinignan nyo to, ang daming folders yan. You have a multitude of options pagdating sa transitions. I leave it up to you to experiment. But for our short session, I only have a few more minutes. Dito tayo sa cross dissolve. Cross dissolve lang muna just so I could show you yung effect na nagagawa ng transitions sa mga video and how to manage yung time ng transitions. Okay? So for example, gusto natin mag-fade in. So dito sa part na to, instead of this abrupt cut, we want to show the EPL port shot fading out as nagfe-fade in yung EPL port shot from the horizon. Okay? So we want to show this fading into this and this fading into this. So we want to crossfade. Kaya siya crossfade yung tawag kasi isa nagfe-fade in, isa nagfe-fade out. Alright? So here we go. We just grab itong cross dissolve na effect. We click and drag it all the way papunta dito sa pagitan ng dalawang clips na gusto natin mag-fade in and fade out. We preview it so we could see it. There we go. However, sometimes natatagalan ako dun sa effect na default. Yung default na transition time na yun. Parang tagal, parang masyadong dramatic. I want just an abrupt fade. What I do is I click on the effect itself. So I click here. I click that. And then I drag it papasok to shorten the duration. So now, instead of the fade starting from somewhere here, the fade starts immediately somewhere closer to the cut. Watch. See? It's just a quick, smooth transition from one cut to another. You don't always have to do this. You do this if you think na the timing of the effect compromises the quality of your video edit. Okay. So we have that there. And then just abrupt cuts. Alright, alright. Okay, so okay na tayo dun sa visual na component nung ano natin, nung video natin. Ano ang sunod na kailangan nating ilagay? Kailangan nating ilagay yung music. So, kailangan natin maglagay ng background music. Ako, personally, I use an online service para makakuha ng mga music na to. So, I'm subscribed to this service called Epidemic Sound. I am not sponsored. I am just subscribed to them para makakuha ng regular updates on music packs basically. So okay. It seems like the type of song that would suit whatever it is that we're trying to edit. So we're gonna select this. Tapos again, just like yung pagka-cut, control C lang, C. Then we click where we want to cut and then we delete the rest of it. Okay? So again, pag-zoom, alt mouse wheel, then we try to sync it up with our visuals. So okay, medyo nag-fade in siya dito, no. We could try dragging this out. Lagay tayo ng cross dissolve na effect dun sa simula. And then we just drag it out here. Let's try how this works. The piano drops somewhere here. Oh yeah, by the way, you could enlarge or reduce yung workspace sizes nito. So halimbawa, if you see the cursor change when I drag over here, you could just drag this down para mas makita ko yung waveform ng sound. So halimbawa dito, this is when the piano starts. So I kind of want the cut to happen here. Okay, there's a peak here, so I kind of want this to happen here. So I'm just going to drag this out a bit. I kind of don't want na nadamay ito. Alright, so lagyan na natin siya ng konting cross dissolve papunta palabas. But as you can see, yung music natin hindi siya sumusunod. So this is what we do. This is like the basics of keyframing. Keyframing, saka ko na i-explain sa inyo yung definition ng keyframing. Pero this is basically what we do. We press control. Then we click on the line dun sa gitna. I don't know if you see this line. Dun sa pagitan ng taas at baba ng audio waves. So we click that line. And then we create another one. And then we drag yung pangalawa na ginawa natin pababa. Now listen to it. Yun. Di ba? It slowly fades away para hindi siya biglang abrupt na magka-cut. Okay. So now let's try to preview what we've done. Yan. So, kunwari, yan, nalapatan na natin siya ng text. Ay, nalapatan na natin siya ng music. So, doon natin gagawin ay maglalagay tayo ng text. So, nandito lang yan. dito sa text na to, sa type tool, click natin yung workspace area, yung preview area, and then we say something about it. So, halimbawa, we can type or mock city. Whoop, city. Yan. So, gusto natin baguhin yung font. Nandito yan sa Essential Graphics na window sa upper right side ng inyong workspace. So, let's look for a font. Siguro, let's try Railway. There we go. No, not quite. No, I prefer Railway. And then, adjust natin ng konti yung specs niya by adjusting yung gaps between the letters. Yan. And then we center it. And then if we want to center it sa sa video frame, we just click on here sa align and transform. We click here sa gitna para gumitna siya. And then we try to check it out. See if it works. Again, lagyan natin siya ng effects, cross dissolve. We might want to extend our music pag ganun so it covers yung yung Ormoc City na cutaway. Extend this a bit para pwede natin i-extend ng konti yung frame, yung natin, yung ating keyframes. Okay, let's try to listen to it. Alright. That's very nice. So yan, meron na tayong mga cuts. Na-cut natin siya ng maayos. More or less kasabay siya ng beat ng music. Yung music na fade out natin ng maayos dun sa end. Tapos, natuto din tayo maglagay ng text doon sa ating video. Kailangan natin aralin paano natin siya i-render. Paano natin siya gagawing video talaga. So, this is what we do. We press File. We press Export. And then we press Media. Yan. Media. Tapos, dito tayo mapupunta ngayon sa screen na to. First thing that you have to do is to make sure that it's rendering using the H.264 codec. The H.264 codec is the most versatile codec that you will find. You'll see na it works on all devices, or well, most devices. Apple is always questionable. So you'll find that this codec works on most devices. And hindi rin siya ganun katagal mag-render, tapos hindi rin siya ganun kalabo. So it balances compression and quality ng tamang-tama lang. So dito na kailangan natin malaman kung paano natin siya isa-save at saan natin siya isa-save at kung ano yung file name niya pagka sinave natin siya. We then click here sa output name. Pagka-click natin sa output name, magna-navigate tayo para makapunta dun sa folder kung saan natin siya gustong i-save. Sabi natin gusto natin siya mapunta dun sa Season 31 test folder kung saan natin nilagay yung ating mga project files kanina. We then select test. Yan, kumari test yung pangalan natin. Hindi, lagyan natin test Sir Edmund. And then we click on export. And then once na-click natin yung export, papanoorin lang natin yung render bar. Wala tayong magagawa dito kundi manalangin na hindi siya mag-error pagdating ng 99%. Okay? So, this is the point where we hope and pray and believe in the power of our CPUs. So as for me, okay naman siya. Rendering hasn't been a problem. Hopefully, it never becomes a problem. So, regardless of yung length nung that's because I invested in a proper editing computer with proper ventilation and such. So, kung ikaw mag-edit ka, make sure that your computer is properly ventilated, malinis yung vents ng laptop mo, meron kang proper na cooling management when you start rendering para hindi siya mag-error. Especially dun sa crucial na 99%, dun sa crucial na write out stage ng iyong rendering. Saka na natin pag-uusapan yung technicalities ng rendering, pero basically what I'm trying to say is it usually blows up your computer at 99%. So try to manage that by making sure that your computer is in a cool, well-ventilated area. Okay, so now that we've done rendering it, all that's left for us to do is to test it. So, let's go ahead and check it out kung gumagana siya. Yun! It works! It all works. So, yan. Success ang ating pag-render. Success ang ating pag-edit. If you have any more questions, please feel free to post them in the comments down below or send them to me on Facebook. I will be posting my Facebook link sa description ng video na ito. Ayun lamang po. Maraming salamat.